Donald Trump is panicking. Iran has completely outmaneuvered him. We're not going to let a single tanker through the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed. We're going to keep our troops in Iran. We're ready to start shooting again. Our military is looking for the next conquest. Oil executives are losing it. This is the worst of all circumstances.
The Strait of Hormuz, closed. Mines laid, no tankers through. Zero. That's the verdict. That's a direct line to your gas pump, your grocery bill, and your job security. Your future. They just handed a chokehold on global commerce to Iran.
Donald Trump was having a psychotic meltdown at midnight last night as Iran has completely outmaneuvered him when he was trying to pull one of his fake deal scams with the ceasefire where he goes, all right, I'm going to enter into a deal and I'll agree to all of your terms, Iran. And then Donald Trump's like, well, I actually didn't agree to those terms. Those weren't the real terms. The terms were my terms. And Iran was like, Donald, you publicly posted because we made you that you embraced our 10-point negotiation framework. You literally posted it, and we've made clear what our 10 points were. But okay, Donald, you want to do that? Israel's going to continue to attack Beirut in Lebanon. That's what you want to do? Okay. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed. We've put mines all throughout the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going to let a single tanker through, Donald. You know, when the war was going on, there were about 5 to 10 tankers that were able to get through the Strait of Hormuz. So you want to play this game, Donald, where you claim that you didn't agree to the 10-point framework that was the basis of the ceasefire? Go and do it. We're not going to let a single tanker through the Strait of Hormuz. And you know what, Donald? This is what Iran says. We're going to publish a map showing that we've mined the entire strait. So good luck, any ships trying to traverse the Strait of Hormuz.
This is exactly what Partisan Pulse exists for, the moment between what they said and what the record shows. Because that gap, that's where your money disappears.
So here's what we've learned, and Donald Trump is freaking out about this, so much so that Donald Trump's been posting, we're going to keep our troops in Iran, we're ready to start shooting again, or else we're going to do some more conquests elsewhere. But here are the facts. Only 4 vessels managed to cross the Strait of Hormuz since the ceasefire, that's really a ceasefire in name only, started. Not a single one of these ships involved any tankers at all. 0 tankers. The last transit was yesterday morning.
He just gave the whole game away. Donald Trump's deal wasn't a negotiation, it was a surrender. Iran outmaneuvered him, securing control of the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point for 20% of the world's oil. Now they're demanding a $2.5 million fee per tanker. That's not abstract. That's the direct mechanism for soaring oil prices. That fee, it passes straight to you. Your commute, your heating costs, your budget. This isn't a miscalculation. This is the cost of a deal that put Iran in charge of global energy. The oil executives already know it. They're panicking. And now, so should you.
The oil executives, by the way, are losing it over Donald Trump. They're all saying, you agreed that Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz now? The oil executives read the 10-point plan. I mean, Donald Trump can go on his social media platform and attack NATO and say, I'm going to launch a federal investigation into CNN and other media companies that published the 10-point list. That's not the real 10-point list. Everybody knows Iran actually agreed with our 15-point plan, but they called it a 10-point plan, not the 10. But we all know what the 10-point plan was, Donald. It was a total and complete surrender of the Trump regime and the United States of America, and you agreed to it. Iran immediately published the 10-point plan when you announced that there was a ceasefire. The mediator now, who is the Pakistani Prime Minister Sharif, he made clear that you basically adopted the 10-point. We all know what happened here. So all these oil executives are like, Donald, we can't pay Iran $2.5 million per tanker to use the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to lose money, makes the use of the Strait of Hormuz all but impossible. If we have to pay that money, it passes on to the consumer, so the price of oil surges. What the hell kind of deal did you make, Donald?
That's the lie. Right there. After agreeing to Iran's terms, Trump's claiming the entire 10-point plan is a fake hoax. He's calling the media evil losers for reporting the very terms he accepted, and he's calling you a mushbrain idiot if you believe it. This is a deliberate attempt to gaslight the entire country, to rewrite history in real time. He agreed. The mediator confirmed it. Iran published it. And now he's attacking anyone who dares to point out the truth. That's not leadership. That's a man caught in a lie, lashing out. And your wallet is paying the price for his delusion.
This is the worst of all circumstances. So as Trump was having this late night meltdown last night, he goes, NATO wasn't there when we needed them, and they won't be there if we need them again. Remember Greenland, that big poorly run piece of ice? DJT. Because Donald Trump said because NATO did not give him Greenland and did not allow him to conquer Greenland, he feels betrayed by NATO and that the U.S. will likely be pulling out of NATO. Donald Trump also posted the failing New York Times and fake news CNN each reported a totally fake 10-point plan on the Iran negotiations, which was meant to discredit the people involved in the peace process. All 10 points were a made-up hoax. Evil losers, America's great again, discredit the people. You think we're just all stupid? You think we're all just dumb MAGA mush brain idiots?
It gets worse. He's not just denying the truth. He's threatening federal investigations against anyone who reports the truth. Think about that. A federal investigation for showing receipts. This is where it stops being politics and starts being a direct threat to free speech, to a free press, to any dissenting voice. You cannot investigate facts out of existence. You cannot criminalize reporting what was publicly agreed upon. This isn't speculation. This is documented. This is a chilling escalation, and it proves exactly how desperate they are to hide what really happened.
Donald Trump then said the following late last night. This was at midnight. Okay, this was at 12:04 a.m. He writes, numerous agreements, lists, and letters are being sent out by people that have absolutely nothing to do with the USA-Iran negotiation. In many cases, they are totally fraudsters, charlatans, and worse. Pause. The Iranian people you negotiated with have put out the list, their 10-point plan, and they didn't do it recently. They've been doing it for 4 damn weeks. We all know what those points are. Then Donald Trump goes, they will be rapidly exposed after our federal investigation is completed.
The math is documented. The contradiction is clear. Trump himself, the man denying the 10-point plan, posted about the 10-point plan. He cited Iran's foreign minister confirming it. He called it the basis of negotiations. He knew. He agreed. He then lied about it. That's not a misunderstanding. That's a deliberate deception. And it cost you. It cost America. This is the receipt. This is the proof. He cannot escape his own words. And those words handed Iran a massive victory, a victory over your economic stability, Mick.
Donald Trump then goes on to say, there is only one group of meaningful points that are acceptable to the United States, and we will be discussing them behind closed doors during these negotiations. These are the points that are the basis on which we agreed to a ceasefire. It is something that is reasonable and can easily be dispensed with. It's very much like fake news CNN last night headlining a source that had no power or authority to write a letter claiming great authority. Donald J. Trump. Look, Donald Trump, you posted from Iran's foreign minister Araghchi when the ceasefire was announced, which is a fake ceasefire. You said the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis of negotiations. and the 10-point peace plan guarantee Iran will not be attacked again, permanent end to the war, not just a ceasefire.
Now, here's the spin. J.D. Vance, Trump's loyal sycophant, trying to dismiss Iran's parliament leader by suggesting he doesn't understand English. It's not a reasonable misunderstanding when the neutral mediator, the Pakistani prime minister, confirmed the terms. It's not a reasonable misunderstanding when those terms include an end to Israeli strikes in Lebanon, a critical point that Israel is now actively violating. Vance is trying to intellectualize a lie to make excuses for a catastrophic failure. This isn't about language barriers. This is about an administration trying to cover up a complete capitulation. The consequences are real. The lies are unraveling, and the world is watching.
And then he's got his little sycophants like J.D. Vance saying, here's what he says.
A lot of agreement. That's point number one. Point number two, to respond to each of those issues, and I read it very closely. Let me just say this. I actually wonder how good he is at understanding English, because there are things that he said that frankly didn't make sense in the context of the negotiations that we've had. But to address the 3 points, first of all, he talked about an attack that had allegedly happened on Iran and how that was a violation of the ceasefire. Ceasefires are always messy. An hour after the president announced the ceasefire, the Iranians launched a bunch of missiles. Then the Israelis responded. So the third thing that he said was Lebanon. Okay, and again, I actually think that is a reasonable misunderstanding, but neither us nor the Israelis said that that was going to be part of the ceasefire. Again, we're working with people to try to get through some of these things, but it's really fundamentally, we're on the right track.
The absurdity continues. Iran is already signaling withdrawal from the ceasefire because the US and Israel aren't adhering to the terms Trump agreed to. This isn't just a breakdown, it's a direct path to further escalation. Analysts are already predicting Israel will escalate to drag the US back into war. This isn't just incompetence. This is a dangerous, reckless gamble with your safety, your economy, and global stability. They are pushing us closer to a conflict that will hit you directly.
Israel saying, we believe Iran is going to resume missile attacks against Israel, so we're going to have to go and attack Iran again. The United Arab Emirates used one of their fighter jets to strike major infrastructure in Iran yesterday. And they did this because it's like, okay, well, it wasn't the United States and Israel's plane, it was the UAE, and they're not bound by the ceasefire. It's like, okay, they're being told to do that by the United States and Israel. And the UAE hates this 10-point plan because it's a full surrender, and Iran now becomes a massive world player and a massive world power, and it recognizes their control of the Strait of Hormuz. So the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Israel are trying to figure out how the hell do we break this ceasefire. And so, you know, this ceasefire is not, it's not a real ceasefire. It's never a ceasefire to begin with.
Go back to what you saw in the cold open. Now you know it wasn't confusion. It was the direct consequence of a catastrophic failure wrapped in a lie and sold as a victory. This wasn't a ceasefire, it was a concession, and the cost lands on you. Drop one word in the comments: accountability or complicity. Let's see where this audience lands. Thanks for watching.